Look, have mercy on me.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to On The Bluff, presented by Carmigo, the easiest way to sell your car on the internet. Guys, I started my purchase.
Is that
or
right?
My selling
Yes.
today. So I'm going to tell you about my experience. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Carmigo. So today, called one of the guys that's been, in contact with us, and he gave me the lowdown, told me how everything worked. Obviously, I knew the basics, but I wanted the behind-the-scenes stuff. He let me know. So easy. All I did is I went and washed my car because can't be trying to sell your car with dirty pics.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can sell with dirty pics, but cars not one of them. And so went and cleaned up my car. Literally, you get on the website, carmigo.io/onthebluff to get your $50 off. That's what I did. You put in your information, your vehicle information. You put in like a little bit of personal information, just like your phone number, really, just so it can link your account. And then you go outside to your car, get on the browser, and it literally gives you illustrations on how to take the picture. Like, it shows you illustrations.
What it's supposed to look like.
No. It has like an outline of the car.
Yeah.
So like your specific car, like my car, it had outlines of my car of where it wanted the pictures. So it'd be like side of car, and you would fit it to frame with the like the outline of the car that they provided on there for you. Super cool, super easy. So definitely go check it out. I was very pleasantly surprised, and I'll be able to report next week on the offer and selling it.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to be good.
It'll
Nationwide network.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. So
they're going to handle that for you.
It's a
best offer.
It's 1 day only. It's a 1 day sale. They literally sell your car in 1 day. You can't ask for any better than that. So
no.
I'm basically done at this point. Like, after just taking pictures,
it's out of your hands.
I'm done. They do everything else. I don't have to do anything. The buyer will come pick it up. They'll, wire me my money and everything. Super cool, super easy. So if you are looking for a new car, looking to get rid of your car, carmigo.io/onthebluff. All you got to do, as I've mentioned, put in some information, take some pictures of your car. Carmigo does the rest. They handle the paperwork. They handle the buyers. They have incredible relationships with dealers to get you the best offer in 1 day only. So big shout out to Carmigo.
So worry-free, hassle-free, for real.
For real.
I love it.
For real.
Hell yeah. Carmigo.io on the bluff.
Yep.
$50 off.
$50 off.
We try to help. We give back, don't we?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So this was a coming in, like, okay, if we looked at this week on Thursday, we probably would have said, we're not going to have anything to talk about.
Right, yeah.
The Gabe Kuhn Show rolls around on Friday afternoon, and just walk us through that a little bit.
This was
crazy
hilarious.
Friday.
So obviously earlier last week we got the College AD report from collegead.com about how the Big 12 came out with a delegation and Brett Yormark and met with people. I think they said something about the regents, board of regents, and yada, yada, yada. So on Friday, I'm like, you know what? I know Dennis Dodd's really good at this realignment stuff. I know he hadn't written anything about Memphis, but let me check in with him. He's got good Big 12 connects. Certainly he'll know something about the Memphis situation. So I bring him on the show. First thing I say, so obviously I have to start here. College AD's reporting that Big 12 and Memphis have been in some substantial talks. Laird Veach, the AD, seems to have confirmed something, although he wouldn't talk about exact conversations. And Dennis Dodd responds, all right, so I want to get out front of this. There was no delegation. There was no Brett Yormark. Nothing happened. This did not happen according to my reports. And me, you should have seen my face. I go, what? What are you I said, really? I said really like 4 times to him. If you go back and listen to the interview, 9290ESPN.com, there's a shameless plug, even though we're on the pod.
Because then you're thinking immediately.
I said, really? And he goes, it didn't happen at all. And he said, I wouldn't give any airtime to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, we've already given airtime to it. And we've had confirmations within this market at the Daily Memphian, the Commercial Appeal. Like, we've had confirmations on the whole thing. So my mind just starts going nuts. Like, what the hell? Like, where was Brett Yormark? What happened here? If they did come to town, why are they keeping it so secretive? If they didn't come to town, Why is the University of Memphis not saying they didn't come to town? Because ultimately, if they didn't come to town and they let the media run with it for 3 days, and then ultimately it didn't happen, that would look bad on the university and on the athletic department, because then they'd look kind of desperate in that situation. So my mind just starts going a million miles an hour. And obviously I ask him a couple more questions about, like, University of Memphis, why haven't they made it in at this point? And then I transitioned to other realignment stuff. I circled back later to ask him, like, wait, can you confirm this again for me? Like,
let's just make sure.
Let me make sure. Like, this didn't happen according to your reporting. He said it did not happen. I said, okay, whatever. So then I'm talking to people over the weekend, and I'm pretty damn sure it happened.
Hold on.
But
hold on. Before you move on from that, take us behind the scenes at 92.9. What was happening in the rooms as that was going down?
So my producer, Connor Dunning, he's fantastic at, like, runs social media, does those things. Dennis says this, and I'm like doing the whole really thing, like, and he's going through, according to my reporting, this never happened. This particular visit never happened, according to my reporting. So Connor's on the other side, just like a mouth open, like, are you hearing this?
Yeah.
Right, like, because he knows we're about to just, the amount of people in Memphis that are going to be blown away, pissed off, annoyed, the whole nine. He knew what it was going to be, but regardless, he tweets it out, and he's got something ready for it and puts it out there on social media just immediately. But man, it's kind of funny, because when you go to 3-hour show every day, you go to prep. And obviously I'm prepping to talk about Memphis to the Big 12 all day because of the College AD report. I hear that, and I'm like, well, shit. Like, there goes my day. There goes the whole show. Now I'm going to have to blow it up and talk about source wars.
Yeah.
Who's right?
Which
side?
Yeah.
And then Geoff, who came on it was actually perfect timing, because Geoff Calkins comes on from the Daily Memphian 5 o'clock every single day. So he ended up confirming that Brett Yarmark was in Memphis.
Yeah.
Right after Dennis said what he said about it not happening. So then we had, like, the show worked itself out, because regardless of what I was going to talk about originally, we have one person saying nothing ever happened, one person saying it did happen, and it became pretty cool just to sort of go through the show that way.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect to talk about, like, my whole Friday show was about reporting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was about reporting, not talking about Big 12 to Memphis, Big 12 not to Memphis, how exciting are they, how far are they down the list of suitors. It was about, did the damn visit happen or not?
Yeah.
And, like, everybody was up in arms. They luckily, I was glad that the city of Memphis didn't shoot the messenger. I was very happy about that. They went after Dodd, not me, Dennis. And Dennis does a good job reporting. He's got good connects. That's why he got the information from Brett Yarmark and the people up at the Big 12, and they said they didn't take the visit or whatever. But, Friday was an interesting day, man. It really was.
Can I tell you this? And I heard this from a bunch of people, and I heard the interview. I heard the whole day myself. Like, I was listening to it. We talked out on the phone afterwards. And I was like, are you good, bro? Like,
yeah, I'm fine.
You handled that stuff so well, dude. Like, I just want to give you your flowers.
Appreciate
on that.
it.
That
Appreciate
was wild, bro.
It's so hard to handle that in the moment, because you're expecting to talk about this for an
you
entire
have all your
segment.
Questions for him.
Yes,
played
about
out a little
the
bit,
University of Memphis, and he goes, "Yeah, that shit didn't happen." It's
then
like,
he's
well,
like,
damn, okay.
Now I don't
guess
know what
it
to
didn't.
ask you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I figured it out.
Yeah,
Realignment's
absolutely.
realignment. But man, like, I didn't expect to cause a stir like that. I really didn't. But when it happened, you have to put it out there. Like, because ultimately, like, we are purveyors of information, and that was a new bit of information that not a lot of people had. No one had talked about it, not being a real possibility. But then after that, I think so I get off at 7:15. Pete Thamel had reached out to Brett Yarmark to get a quote. Did you go to Memphis or not? And he said, what was it? I've never met with anyone at Memphis about adding them to the Big 12, nor have I been on campus.
A weird.
He could have just said if it didn't happen
that it
altogether.
didn't happen.
He could have said
Memphis is not an option.
Or he could have said, I have not traveled to Memphis. I did not travel to Memphis last weekend.
It's the last
He
two words.
said, no, but he said, I've never met with anyone at Memphis, nor have I been on campus. And you're like, okay, buddy. You're telling the truth.
Right.
I believe that statement. I just don't believe you're telling us the full truth about where you were on Sunday of last week.
Yeah, too many clarifiers in there.
Yeah.
Too many clarifying details in that sentence alone. So after the dust settles and everything, you believe it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm getting too much information to be obviously I wasn't there on hand at the meeting, so I can't legitimately tell you what was discussed, who was there. I can say pretty damn matter-of-factly that he was not on campus, but he did meet with people important to the University of Memphis's orbit.
Yeah.
That's all I can. I mean, I'm not going to put out the information.
Yeah.
I have people I trust to sort of at least keep it somewhat under wraps, and I'm not gonna put that out there like that.
Yeah, no, we'll see what actually comes out about it. But
honestly, isn't it? Ultimately, it's God and the people that were involved that know.
That's it.
But I'm telling you, pretty damn confidently, Brett Yormark was in Memphis.
Yeah. So here's the thing that concerns me, and if none of this would have ever happened, I don't think we would have had concern over this. But the fact that the Big 12 commissioner is denying any involvement in this situation or being in Memphis or anything like that, it worries me for Memphis's case to get into the Big 12. Because on, what was it, Thursday that College AD released that it all went down? Obviously, hopes were really high, and everyone was like, okay, here we go. Like, this could be it. This could finally be happening. We could finally see this come to realization. And then literally the next day on your show, it's shut down. And Yormark publicly denies meeting with Memphis officials or being on campus or coming to campus to meet athletic department officials. And so it's just like, okay, so if we believe that it happened, and we're both in the belief that it happened, and I feel like around here in this city, that's pretty much the belief, is that it happened. He was here. He met with someone about something having to do with Memphis joining the Big 12. Yeah. So with the belief that happened, why are they not publicly admitting it? And if Memphis was the only school they were in discussions with right now, and they were preliminary, whatever, okay, it is public knowledge that they have met with Colorado and UConn.
They went to UConn.
Yes.
They are not denying it in the slightest.
Not in the slightest.
That would tell me that Memphis is behind those schools. But obviously I figured they'd be behind the Pac-12 schools. But behind UConn is kind of that's a stark reality. That's a tough reality to take.
That stings a little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like UConn, incredible, historical basketball school. Yes, they just won the national championship. They're always in the conversation. The majority of the time they're in the conversation.
But football makes money, and I have to hold my nose when I watch their games.
That's the thing. Football is the driving force of money for the NCAA. Basketball plays a part in it, but the large piece of the pie is football. I don't know what it's expressed as a percentage that it is, but it's way higher. What would you think it is? It's ridiculous. 75-25, 80-20? Like, it's
probably
high.
80-20 is probably closer to it for most programs.
UConn sucks at football. Historically, they've never really been good at football.
Late Big East with Randy Edsall, they were okay. But ever since then, they've been horrible. They tried to bring back Randy Edsall, and they were horrible. Yeah. They were miserable. And I don't think people in that damn market care about football.
They don't.
At all.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I've been sort of like trying to gauge their feelings on it in general. I don't think any of them want to leave the Big East.
You don't?
I think the athletic department would have to think about it because the Big 12 payouts are substantial, and you could get yourself back on a decent level in football. But I think that the Big East move, for the most part, most of the fan base is very happy about, because you have that Northeastern recruiting taken care of. Danny Hurley sort of loves that, playing the schools they play in the Big East constantly. So I feel like for the basketball side of things, which is what they care about the most, they want to stay in the Big East.
Yeah.
But if they go to the Big 12, I mean, there's more money involved, but you lose that Northeast footprint that you have right this second.
Yeah. So, that worries me considerably. Not only are they denying meeting with Memphis, which, okay, another hypothetical. Let's say they were just talking to Colorado, an already Power 5 school. Then it's like, okay, that's a Power 5 school. No, but they're talking to UConn.
And Gonzaga certainly in there.
Yeah, and it's like Memphis should be on a higher plane than these.
Well, hell, but here's the thing. Last time around, I thought they should have been on a higher plane than UCF and Houston.
Yeah, we did.
And they're clearly not.
No.
Like, I don't know why they got passed over, but they did. Like, I'm just of the belief, too, like, and I hear this argument all the time, and I latch on to it. If they were going to be in the Big 12, I feel like they would have been in already.
Yeah.
And that's the frustrating part. But I view it, I'll say this, them trying to keep it under wraps that way and keep it such a secret, I agree with you, I view it negatively. Because it shows like they either don't want to get hopes up or they don't want to show their hand to the rest of the teams that could potentially join. Because those teams see that Memphis is joining, they may feel a different way,
right,
a type of way about going into the Big 12. But Geoff, I was talking to him today, Geoff Calkins, and he posed it a different way. He says, okay, big donors in Memphis meet with the Big 12. Let's just say that's the case at somebody's house, for example. And let's say it's Fred Smith. Fred Smith in 2016, there was a report about him wanting to sponsor the Big 12 championship game if Memphis became a part. It was public knowledge at that moment, and then Memphis gets left out, so he gets spurned. He feels a type of way. His other thought process, if you want to try to look at it through a positive lens, is that this is the Memphis donors saying keep it under wraps because they don't want to get burned again.
Publicly.
And I said, okay, I don't believe that, but if you want to try to put a spin on it, sure.
Yeah.
But I view it negatively because it just shows that they're not wanting to publicly be tied to Memphis. The Big 12, they're not wanting to be publicly tied to Memphis at the current moment.
Yeah, optically doesn't look great at all. I definitely agree with you there. So you don't feel like it's going to happen, is what you're saying. You don't like the chances.
I don't like the chances. If certain things happen, if let's say they strike out, the Big 12 strikes out on 3 of the 4. Colorado comes over, and then 3 of the 4 schools
say no.
Then I feel better. If Brett Yormark says we're going to go to 18, 20 teams, I'll feel pretty damn good about it. If all 4 teams join, I'll feel awful about it, right? And then UConn. Like it's just it's gonna be a wait and see thing for me. But no, I don't feel good about it because of the PTSD of every other time before.
Yeah.
Like
that's exactly. Kenny and I were talking about it on the way up here, and like obviously there's gonna be a little bit of excitement about it.
Of course,
even if it's been denied, all that, like just the thoughts for fans of potentially being in a Power 5 conference, like that buzz and excitement's going to be there. And so we were talking about that, and it was just like, it just doesn't feel like it's going to happen. Yeah. And I don't know if that's, just an inclination or if it's, like you said, just from seeing this play out so many times in the past and it never come to fruition where it's like, there's no point in getting hopes up at this point.
If Brett Yormark didn't so publicly try in his best way, like he's being sneaky about it. I truly think that. But if he didn't so publicly try to deny coming to Memphis, I'd feel better about it.
Absolutely.
But there is 2 things that give me some hope. One, and it has to do with what Brett Yormark has said in the past. One, he's talked about basketball being a driver for him. He thinks there's some potential that could be unlocked by the Big 12 if they double down on basketball. Well, University of Memphis has a great historical basketball program with a really good coach right now in Penny Hardaway who recruits big, who brings in big names. There's a lot to build off of. And you're in the FedEx Forum, you're in a pro stadium,
big arena.
pro arena. So like there's a lot to like about the basketball program. And also he said we're not ever going to be at the top from a payout perspective, like when we're talking about TV revenue. So he's talked about strength in numbers, where you want to bring in a lot of schools that have ability to build into the Big 12 and make money that way. And if they really do believe in strength in numbers and want to keep themselves in that power conversation, in the world of college athletics. If they boost up to 16, 18, 20 teams, I think Memphis could probably make the cut in that conversation. But that actually has to come to fruition, right?
Yeah.
There's a positive spin for all this, but
Absolutely.
ultimately I have too much PTSD. And like getting your hopes up, I would say expect the worst, hope for the best, right? That's all you can do in these situations. People have learned that, though.
Yeah, I agree. But it is hard if you are a Memphis fan or someone, close to the program. And let's just call it what it is, like for the media in general, for all of us, anyone in media, print, radio, digital media, whatever it may be, like we all want it to happen.
Oh, hell yeah. Good
we
Lord.
all want it to happen. Like,
helps us. It's a symbiotic relationship
Absolutely.
At that point.
Absolutely.
Right?
So trust us. We are rooting for it as well.
Oh, hell yes.
But even us, like it just feels like, man, I don't know. It's a little sketchy. But let's talk a little bit about the positive of it because of the potential of it happening. Because let's just say it does. Hypothetical world, Memphis makes the cut. Memphis makes it in. I feel like some people may have too big of thoughts on it, on like, okay, this is insane, and some people may think too low of like, it's not that big of a deal. What, like, in your opinion, what does it mean for the program, for the university if they get in?
You raise the heights where your program can go. Obviously, we're not talking about autonomy in a football sense anymore, but I mean, from a week-to-week basis, who you're playing gets respected more on a national scale when it comes to championships and everything else. Like we talk about all the time. I'll get to that. We talk about all the time the AAC. When you get into the AAC schedule in basketball, it's like you can't build your resume. You're in the Big 12 every week. You could be 17-15 and still have a chance to be in an at large. But yeah, what you were doing, do it again. Money, that's what it is, man.
Yeah.
Go look at the damn contract numbers. It's around $30 million per school.
Yeah.
Right now in the AAC, they're not making that from a TV revenue perspective. And the Big 12, having gotten done their TV contracts and sort of divvied that stuff out, and now they know sort of where they're going to be without Texas and OU to a certain extent, having added the 4 schools, like they're relatively stable.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's stable in college athletics, but the Big 12's done a good job of trying to recoup after Texas and OU. You make more money. Also, I think when we talk about getting down to FedEx Forum, getting to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, every single week you're bringing out more people, which means more revenue generated at bars in the area, more revenue generated at the ticket sales, more revenue generated in concessions, more revenue generated in total.
It's an economy.
Everything, it just helps. And I've seen some ridiculous tweets out there about, oh, well, it'll be the AAC plus when Memphis gets there. I don't give a damn. Are you making more money?
Yeah.
Then shut up.
Yeah,
butt out of the conversation then.
So Kenny,
if you're making more money, it makes more sense.
Kenny called me on Friday while this was all happening on your show, and we were talking about just from the fan base side of it, from like what it looks like optically, like just. I hate to even do this to fans because I've already said, I don't feel like it's going to happen, but like it is a cool thing to think about. The prospect of it happening is super, super cool. From the football side, think about, you said this a few weeks ago, like think about what has happened in the past when Power 5 schools have come to Memphis. The stadium has been packed. It's been the kind of environment that diehard football fans sit there and they go, why is it not like this every week? So imagine when Oklahoma State and Baylor, Iowa State, some of these top teams in the Big 12 come in. I mean, the attendance, I don't know what the attendance number was for this year. I think it was maybe around 31, 32. You're going to look at average attendance every year upwards of 40, I would imagine.
Hell
Easily.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I keep using this example because I think it's perfect. 2013, 4-8 team, year one, under Justin Fuente. I'm a redshirt that year, played Duke at home. 45,000 to go watch a 4-8 team play Duke at home.
Yeah.
It's Duke.
Right.
Duke. They weren't good, and they're not historically good.
Right.
So there's no really there was no reason for there to be $45,000, but there is. And that's the thing that I always try to let people know. Like, let's just compare it to the teams that have gone to the Big 12. BYU will leave out because their fan base is rabid.
Yeah.
Like they really love BYU. But Cincinnati and UCF and Houston, I feel as if the University of Memphis has probably just about as much pull in Memphis that Cincinnati does in Cincinnati. I think they outdo UCF because, like, in Orlando, do people really latch on to UCF? UCF football, UCF basketball? No. In Houston, do they really latch on with all those pro sports? Houston basketball, Houston football? Hell no.
No.
Hell no. I think here in Memphis, the fan base really does rally around the university a lot more. And I don't know why people can't see that. Power 5 commissioners and presidents and everything else can't quite see the vision there.
Yeah.
You're in it's a SEC footprint. It's a melting pot of, Arkansas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee. But at the same time, University of Memphis has a following a lot better than 99.9% of Group of 5 schools, and it's a major metropolitan market. Yeah. It's ripe for the taking. There's a hunger for it, and I don't know why people are always in the business of skipping past that conversation.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, what the numbers that were pulled for Duke and for Ole Miss and Mississippi State, teams that at the time I don't think were top 25-ish programs. Duke, obviously, I don't think they were that year. But even Ole Miss, I don't think was great that year that they came in. Maybe when you were playing they were, but after your career when they came in.
And I know it was a big game, and it was a college game day game, but it's 60,000 deep for SMU.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you think about Baylor.
When it matters, it matters.
Baylor, Oklahoma
people will
State,
show up.
Perennial top 25 teams, especially over the past few years. They've both been top 10 teams over the past several years. So teams like that coming in, and then on the basketball side of it, it already does well.
Yeah.
But you think about Kansas coming once a year to play Memphis, like that's insane.
No,
that's gonna
every single team.
Yeah.
Iowa State comes in. They've been a top 25 team the past couple of years.
Oklahoma State,
Baylor. Every team in the Big 12 for basketball. That's like the least of my worries.
Right.
They're filling out FedEx for them every damn
Texas Tech, Baylor,
game.
yeah, all these. Yes, the conference schedule basketball is like you'll walk in there every single game and be like, it doesn't look like there's an empty seat in the house.
Yeah. And
so I think the gap that it changes in basketball, I think it's big, obviously, because of TV contracts, and I think you do have more butts and seats overall. Clearly, because conference play over the last couple of years has been so-so. So, yes, you do bring a little bit up, a good bit up, but I think the gap that we see bridged in football if Memphis goes to a Power 5 conference,
I think it's huge.
It's absurd.
It's massive.
It's absurd. And and then I think at that point in time, we finally see the potential of Memphis as a football town because it's never really been there before. Maybe a couple years with Norvell, a couple years with Fuente, but we've never seen Memphis as a true – like this city cares about football, no doubt. No doubt. Like we still see games where it's like 24, 25,000 and stuff like this. If Memphis becomes a Power 5 school, recruits at that level, gets the money influx that those schools
kids
has.
in Memphis.
Yes, I don't think we're questioning what does football mean to Memphis anymore. I think it becomes very obvious that there was a yearning for it, and then here it is. Now we
get to keep recruits in Memphis,
yes,
man.
Absolutely.
Instead of them going down the road to Ole Miss all the damn time.
To a Power 5 school.
Right,
yeah.
to a Power 5. Well, maybe still lose them to Ole Miss and Tennessee. But, like, you get my point.
Yeah,
but, like, they get that Power 5 mark, even though it may not be Power 5 coming up soon. You're just playing in a good conference against good competition all the time, and that's what some of these recruits want. And here's the frustrating part, and I guess if I go way back to like the early 2000s and the lack of investment in football and the full investment in basketball, I could blame administration a little bit for where we're at in regards to just sort of the power dynamics and why they're not in a Power 5. Because I think you could have started the train on football earlier, and that would have made you more attractive throughout the entire process. Right. But I can't blame the administration at all. They're doing that. They're making the efforts to they're doing just about everything they can
to make Memphis an attractive
to try to make Memphis a Power 5 ready school.
Yeah.
They're advancing, and the city has gotten money. Like, they're advancing the stadium projects. They're trying to get some NIL money rolling through the program little by little, although I still think they could be better at that. But there's been an effort constantly to make these athletic programs on par with Power 5. And it's frustrating when you make all that effort and you still feel like you're on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I agree with that. You said something about NIL. How much do we think getting into a Power 5 school helps that NIL stuff?
I still think with NIL, your administration and the donors have to be in lockstep.
Right. But does it make people more willing to give?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I do think the administration and the donors have to be working hand in hand. I'm not quite sure we're there yet. I'm not quite sure we're there yet. And it's new, so people you got to give some time for everything to start moving in the right direction.
Here's what I think. I think maybe to the average fan, like to give money, to donate money, it may not change it that much. What I think it impacts more than anything is businesses giving money, because then you have that I'm giving to not only a school that is competitive and all this, a school that can win a national championship now, a school that can compete for a Power 5 championship, a school that can play in the playoff, a school that can win and not be handcuffed because they're now in a Power 5 conference. That's what I think it brings. I think it unlocks more money from businesses. Because as much as we say, like, you know, Power 6, Group of 6, whatever, like Memphis is the best Group of 6 team and the AAC is the best Group of 6 conference, there's such a big divide, and we've talked about this before. Like, there's a massive divide. It's a big difference.
Now.
Huh?
And there's a divide between top two.
Yeah. Big 12 and SEC. Yeah, absolutely. But you're bridging that gap. That's massive at the moment.
Yeah, getting over that hump,
I think with that, I think with being a Power 5 school, with playing recognizable names, not only of teams, but of individual players, like you will have people that come to games and stuff for individual players that are playing for other schools. That's just how college football works. But I think it just makes Memphis a more attractive option for businesses to put funds into. Mm-hmm. Because I think with those TV contracts, with the visibility of the school and advertising on those, you know, different channels. They're not on ESPN Plus pretty much only anymore. Now they're playing on, what is Big 12's contract? Is it Fox?
Yeah, it's Big
Or is that
Fox.
Big 10?
I'm trying to looking at the new one. Kenny would have to look.
Yeah, whatever it is. But you're more visible. Your visibility as a program is magnified by so much that I think you just become immediately a more attractive option for money to go towards.
No, I agree. I fully agree. I just think everything about the lifting the University of Memphis into the Big 12 is attractive. And you see some people shooting it down and like, oh, how much does this help you? It helps
a lot in every aspect.
And like, I'll say this too, like when I see that sentiment, I know, all right, probably unfollow this person or don't listen to this person.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And it's with ESPN, by the way.
ESPN
and Fox.
ESPN and Fox. Okay.
Yeah. So similar deal.
Yeah. Way bigger than ESPN.
6 year, $2.28 billion. Yep.
It's not bad.
Yes.
That's not too shabby.
Oh, but Memphis jumping into the Big 12. $2.28 billion in a TV deal that gets divvied up between all the schools. Yeah, I'll take that.
Not bad.
I'll enjoy that.
Better than the ESPN Plus deal.
It would be basically like 3 times their payout now, at the very least. If they
wasn't
it
like 8 to
tomorrow.
10 million from ESPN Plus?
Yeah,
I think that's right. 8 to 10 million, something
fair.
like that.
But no, you'd triple it.
Yeah, at least.
If not more.
At least.
So
what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
It's foolish. It's foolish.
So speaking of college football, I'm bringing this up impromptu because I just thought about it while you were talking about it. We're talking about the college football landscape a little bit. We're talking about the University of Memphis. Last week on Tigers on Tap, Trey, TJ, and Kenny had a conversation about Seth Henigan being the best quarterback in the state of Tennessee. And Kenny doubled down and went hard on Twitter at folks. There's no way you guys are serious. There's absolutely, like, if y'all are just doing that for the clicks, okay. But my God.
God, I love Seth, and you're going to make me do this? Kenny, you really did this.
Kenny went hard. And Kenny wasn't
Did
like.
you not
joking.
watch Joe Milton against Clemson last year?
No.
Well, Clemson was trash.
No, they weren't.
Clemson
was
was trash. Come on, dog.
Trenton Simpson,
What are
Brian
we
Breesy. They had like 4 top, like 2-round draft picks.
No, Joe Milton. I mean, and honestly, if Joe Milton gets benched, Nico Iamaleava
is better than
maybe.
Seth Henigan.
It depends. We have to see him play more. But Joe Milton has been in college for a while. He's got a rocket for an arm. He looked good within that system.
Yeah, Kenny, go ahead and try to plead
I
your
mean,
case.
I don't know, man. And don't bring up Michigan, please.
Yeah, he doesn't even plead your case. I don't understand.
Listen, I didn't make the list. That was not our list. We were reporting.
Y'all were talking about it though,
but
and
it sounds like you were like you love this list. You were into the list.
Can I be honest with you? I know that the University of Tennessee has a lot of fans in the Mid-South area. I know this, and I know that there is nothing that gets UT fans more riled up
than Memphis fans hating on them,
than Memphis
or media
and
hating
UT
on them.
comparisons.
Yeah,
there's nothing that fires them up more. And so when I typed out the graphic for that clip that said Seth Henigan is better than Joe Milton, I knew exactly what I was doing.
I'm not saying it wasn't a good marketing move.
Can I say this? What do you think about let's do the conversation between Seth Henigan versus Joe Milton on a proven scale, like what they've proven at their stops right now. Seth's proven more at his
he's a proven
right
player.
now.
Absolutely.
But I know Joe Milton's going to have a good year if he.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think Joe Milton's
there's not one single college coach in the country that if you put Joe Milton and Seth Henigan in front of them, that would take Seth Henigan over Joe Milton.
Hey, what I said yesterday, I just hope that Joe can go to the Manning Passing Academy and learn from Seth Henigan. That's what I hope he can do.
I'll say this, Joe Milton, man, I've never seen a guy throw a prettier ball 15 rows into the stands.
Oh, that was exactly one of the points. Listen, I understand it. Joe Milton is a flashy player. He can throw the ball like he's got a rocket of an arm. But I think, and again, the argument that I got into on Twitter was not making the argument that Seth was better. The argument was your beef is not with us. Your beef is with the media organization that put this out. That's your beef.
And also, I think if you're talking about like just production last year, because Joe didn't play,
right?
Like we could do that, but if you're projecting even remotely what Joe Milton's going to be this year in Josh Heupel's system, you would realize that he's going to probably go off.
Well, no, I'm sure, but he didn't have Jalen Hyatt.
Okay.
He's
got Ramel Keaton.
I mean, I get it, but
is Brew McCoy still there?
We don't know. I mean, nobody
Squirrel
knows.
White.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
We know the Memphis media knows what you're going to get with Seth, and I'm hoping that Seth is what did they say last week? He's, I think, 3,800 yards away from becoming the all-time leading passing yards guy at Memphis, which I get it. It's not as substantial as
I'm not hating.
Let me say this,
Seth.
by the way.
And look who he's done it with. He's had 1 year of Calvin Austin, who was injured the entire year.
I do have to say, I've seen pictures of Seth this offseason. He's gotten bigger, man.
Yeah.
He's looking thick, man.
I'm not hating on Seth at all. Like, Seth has been way more than anyone ever expected him to be in his career at Memphis. But Joe Milton is projected to be a first-round pick by a lot of people.
But can we admit that's pretty ridiculous?
Yes,
too?
I agree. I mean,
come on. That's insane.
But hey, they did it about Anthony Richardson last year too, and he went number 4 overall, and he sucked all year.
But he's also younger, and he was like coming out early. Joe Milton's what, a fifth-year senior at this point?
He's a fifth-year senior. I
mean,
listen.
But if Hendon Hooker was a second-round pick.
Right. Third
round pick. Hell, he was a third-round pick. Joe Milton is not. I mean, unless he just like
I'm not saying
Heisman race, Heisman candidate, top 2 for Heisman.
Yeah,
then we can start
He's like 6th or 7th.
If he throws 4,000 yards and limits his interceptions, then we can have this conversation. But he's got to go do that.
It was a kid that I was getting into it
First
on Twitter
round
with.
Pick. I'm seen
I'm not with that. I didn't say I agree with that.
I get
it's a thing.
Yes, it is because he's just a physical freak.
Cannon, yeah.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. And I again, the response that I had was not about the argument. I am not. Y'all both know me well enough to know I know my lane. I'm not arguing who's a better quarterback between Seth Henigan and Joe Milton.
Kenny said we need these clicks.
Yeah,
though. Let me get these clicks.
But the argument that I got into was this damn UT fan coming onto my Twitter and saying that we owed UT more respect because Memphis is in Tennessee. I'm like, if you don't get out of my face with that bullshit, like, we don't owe Tennessee anything. Number one, we are not a UT Vols media organization. We cover the University of Memphis, and that was the only reason. We're not sitting here talking about Joe Milton.
That flag there, we don't even have a Tennessee flag over here.
Listen, and
we don't even fake it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, come on, like we don't owe UT anything, and so the level of the level of entitlement that I see from UT fans has driven me crazy since I was a kid. I grew up in this city. I've been around UT fans.
Yeah.
The most obnoxious people I've ever met in my entire life. And so I'll just say this, like, did I want to rile up UT fans?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Did I want to?
Kenny, dap me up, man. Come on.
Yeah, man, that's what I do, man.
Yeah, dog. Hell yeah.
I
like that. I enjoy you.
But
rile them up.
again, I am not debating whether.
See, because
or not,
here's the thing: you try to rile them up when they're bad, and now that they're good as well, keep riling them
Yeah,
up. We ain't front runners around here.
front runners
stop.
around here. Y'all been trash since 2000, but hey, I don't say anything. Like we didn't say anything. Like, listen, but now you're good. Y'all are. Tennessee is great. They had a great football season last year. Hendon Hooker was awesome. Jalen Hyatt was incredible. I'm still going to give y'all shit.
Yeah, and he said, let me get this one article. Let me give Seth Henigan just a little bit of credit.
Get him
for
some
God's
love,
sakes.
baby. There's
Dog,
probably
like,
20 other articles that say Joe Milton's
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
We found that one, baby. We
And
found
ran
the
with
one.
it. Ran with it.
And went hard in the paint, bro.
Ran with it.
I respect it.
Hey,
I love it.
Hey, it's all about the views, as long as it's somewhat in reason.
We need them clicks.
But I'll just say this. I don't think you can say projection-wise, yes, that Joe is going to be a great quarterback. But it's not absurd to say that a third-year starting quarterback who has been a good player for the University of Memphis, who has the chance to become the number one quarterback to ever play at Memphis, you can't sit here and say it's absurd.
Yeah, and you could make the argument because Joe Milton did get replaced by Hendon Hooker year one.
Yeah, but he did. I mean, you can go watch.
We've seen the inconsistencies from Joe Milton
but you
in
can
the past. But to be honest, the Clemson, the bowl game kind of brought me.
Well, all season, every
back
time he came in this season, he was.
And if I know Heupel well enough, the fact that Heupel chose him as the original starting quarterback, even though he did get replaced by Hendon Hooker, that tells me something about what he thinks of his skill set and what he can do within that offense. And I expect a massive year from Joe Milton.
Yeah.
Well, and to back up the Tigers Untapped guys, when TJ was asked about it, what did he say? He said Joe Milton's number one, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like they're sitting there going, yeah, Seth Henigan, you know, like they said TJ was like Joe Milton is number one.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a fair statement. All we did.
I want to see it play out.
I know. It
was.
That's why I wanted to bring it up on our show because y'all had fun with it on.
We had
on
fun
their
with
show.
that, man.
So
and
I wanted
knew,
to have fun with it.
As
too.
soon as that happened, I was like, "Ooh, boy, there's my clip,
That's
baby."
my clip and my title. It's gonna be catchy. Gabe, we didn't even talk. Do we even talk about our weekend now, or did we pass that moment up way too much?
It's too late.
Sorry, guys. I didn't even do.
I went out to
anything.
the pool on Saturday and swam for like an hour, and then the thunderstorms came and went home.
Yeah,
that was my whole weekend. That's all I did.
Mine's very nondescript.
That's all
too.
I did.
So maybe it was a good week not to do it. So Kenny's a little fired up. We're gonna let him simmer down a little bit. We're going to let him simmer down. He's come up with a wonderful hot 3 this week. So we're going to give him a minute. He's going to chill out a little bit. We're going to hear from some sponsors, pay some bills. We'll be back on the other side with the hot 3. Carmigo makes it easy to sell your car while still getting the best price. Instead of taking your car from dealership to compare offers, Carmigo uses their virtual vehicle scanning technology to bring the dealerships to you. Simply use your phone, take a few pictures of your car, then answer a few questions, and they'll share your car's listing with the whole network of buyers. and you can do it all from your phone. Buyers typically receive multiple offers on their cars in as little as a day. Plus, Carmigo handles all of the paperwork. They'll even pick it up. What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
Welcome back to On The Bluff. We are back from a commercial break. This episode is sponsored by Carmigo, man. Thank you. The easiest way to sell your car on the internet. Boys, we got the hot three. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir. Let's go, Kenny Stubbs.
Let's go. All right, first topic. Obviously, it's been a week, and there's been a lot of stuff that's been coming out. We've covered it pretty extensively at Bluff City Media, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the world tour that Adam Silver is doing, not talking about Ja Morant and his potential suspension. He was on the Dan Patrick show, and you know they're talking about what it would look like, and Dan came out and said to him basically, are you concerned about what a possible 60-game suspension could do to a guy like Ja? Obviously, him having free time and things like that is what kind of gets him into trouble. And this is the quote, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. Adam Silver said precisely, he said, I'm worried about that too. And so again, putting aside the number of games that we may be looking at, I'd like to come up with a program, and frankly, working with him in which there is a joint sense, a mutual commitment that we need to put together a program. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Can I say something real quick off the top with Adam Silver, though?
Do it.
You ever seen that Eric Andre meme where he shoots the guy and he's like, look what you did.
Yeah.
That's what Adam Silver did when he did the whole well, I don't want to take any shine off the NBA Finals, but we're gonna announce Ja. We know I could hand this suspension down now, but we're gonna wait till after the NBA Finals. So everybody's just speculating for
the whole time.
Yeah. It's like it did nothing. You did nothing to keep the distraction away from the NBA. You made it substantially worse.
What he made it worse in is he came out and said there's an additional info that we've come up with.
Right.
And he has talked no less than 6 times on it. He's answered every question about it. He could have just by the 5th question been like, actually, I've covered this enough.
Yeah.
I don't need to keep talking about it. But he keeps talking about it. As for what he said with Dan Patrick, it's a step back. It's a step back from that sort of hard tone that everyone thought he was taking. Oh, he's going to lay down the hammer.
Yeah.
He's going to give Ja this long, lengthy suspension. I don't think that's going to be the case. It seems like based on his comments with Dan Patrick, he is focusing more on helping than punitive action. And I think that's how you have to do it, because ultimately, if you're not trying to prevent this from happening again and you're just coming down as hard as you can on Ja,
right.
There's no guarantees that he won't have to later go down this path again with Ja. So just help him over trying to hurt him with any amount of games.
Yeah, I will say one thing. You are going to have a major split on, let's say it's like a 10, 12 game suspension, and obviously they come up with a plan to help Ja and to kind of help him through the situation. You're going to have a major split on people's opinions on this, right? You're going to have the people that love it, and they're like, okay, this makes more sense. We don't need one of the best players in the NBA missing 60 games and having more time to potentially do damning things to his image and reputation. Instead, we give him some games to show that, yes, it's important that you're not doing these things, but also we go hand in hand with him and helping him through this rather than just saying, no, get out of the league for this amount of time. And then you're going to have the people on the other side that are like, this is ridiculous. How can you have these actions and not pay the ultimate price for it? So it will be interesting to see how this is split, because you know without a shadow of a doubt there will be people on that side, especially the super aggressive. How are we allowing this in the NBA and allowing someone to get away with this kind of stuff? Which stupid.
The punishment comes from an image that Ja has put out on behalf of the NBA that the NBA wants to rid themselves from, and I get that. But Miles Bridges had a domestic violence case and got 30 games. I still think Ja is somewhere between 15 and 25. Now, whether people think that's light, which I don't think it's light.
I don't think it's light, no.
I can't really help that. But, like, ultimately for Adam Silver, the other thing that's a silver lining, no pun intended, with this whole thing is, for Ja at least, the NBA and Adam Silver, it is in their best interest to have Ja Morant on the gosh damn floor. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
His shoes sell like damn hotcakes.
Yeah.
He's the face of Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like, people love him. Kids love him. So having him back on the floor helps your product tremendously. That's why he was on national TV so many damn times.
Yeah.
That's why you use a personality like that to sell your product. So no, I mean, like, I think he's on the right path, Adam Silver, with what he's saying about trying to help Ja over punitive action. But I think ultimately this was always the case. This is always going to be the case because the NBA is a better product when Ja Morant's on the floor.
100%. Like, you have to know that it would be a bad business venture for Adam Silver in the NBA to suspend Ja Morant for anything more than 15 or 20 games.
Well, and also, if you get past that 30-game mark where Miles Bridges is the NBA Players Association, which Jaren is a VP on, they're going to be like, what the hell are you? What? Okay, explain.
Yeah.
Give us some reasoning. Give me, like, why did you do this amount of games for what? You have to lay it out. If you go anything past 25, in my opinion, you're really going to have to do some explaining if you're Adam Silver and Joe Dumars and the NBA as a whole. So we'll see.
Yeah, looking better. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. No doubt.
All right, topic number 2. Man, Jerry West ghosts live on. Well, he's not dead yet, but you know what I mean.
He's retired, though.
He's retired.
I don't know.
His ghost of being the GM
the
at
cognitive
Memphis
functioning seems to be slowing down a little bit.
Definitely slowing down a little bit. He made some comments that I want to play for you guys. So listen in. He made some comments on a podcast, and I don't remember exactly which one it is, but just listen to what he had to say.
It was Podcast P with Paul George.
Oh, he was on with Paul George. Okay.
Yep.
So he was talking to Paul George, and listen to what he had to say.
He became a free agent, okay? And he called me. And his agent then was Rob Pelinka. And so I met them in Orange County in a hotel room. And he said he wanted to come to Memphis and play basketball.
Really? That's great.
And I looked at him, I said, you kidding me? Yeah. And he said, no. And I said, Kobe, no. It's just, you belong somewhere out here, okay? You belong somewhere out here. And even though he would have never played there, I just wanted to reassure him that don't feel like you have any obligation with me or the Grizzlies to play here. And because he would have never played there. It wasn't going to happen.
Is that cap or is that no cap?
Man, I don't know what to think about what Jerry said. I mean, I think it's ultimately cap because there was a time, 2004 was sort of the middle of the feud with Shaq and Kobe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And like the Lakers were deciding who had to go. And I think ultimately it was always going to be Shaq because Shaq was movable and he didn't have off the floor. He screwed around a little more than Kobe, and Kobe was sort of the leader of men, the guy who could get free agents to come in.
Kobe
the guy
was the
that could
younger of the two.
He was the younger of the two, but he could also he could rally the troops in a way that Shaq couldn't.
Yeah.
And I think it was always going to be Kobe. He signed a 7-year, $130 million contract that offseason. But what's crazy to me about that clip is why would Jerry admit that when he was employed by the Grizzlies? He was the GM, and he's basically saying, well, I had a generational talent that wanted to come to Memphis, and I said, stay the hell away from Memphis. Yeah. You were hired to be the best GM you could and bring in the best talent, and the best talent said, I want to come play for you guys. Like, and you said, nah, bro, you don't want any part of this. I'm telling you.
I mean, kind of.
That's kind of sad.
In a different take on that, like, kind of good on Jerry West. I mean,
okay.
No, dude.
Explain.
No.
Explain.
I'm
Christian.
about to.
Explain. Come on, buddy.
Around here, you say something, you get jumped on before you can even explain.
Let's hear it. Explain.
As a general manager, horrible move. No doubt. I mean, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. That's like the equivalent of Patrick Mahomes telling Jerry Jones he wants to come to the NFL.
Or come to the Cowboys.
Or come to the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones saying, nah, we're good. Don't come here. But from someone as Jerry West, who has had a relationship with Kobe and probably had Kobe's best interest in mind, Kobe was going to make more money in L.A. and in a big market than he was in Memphis. So Jerry West, kind of a real one for that, but also kind of a terrible GM for that.
I don't know if it's about the money. You're going to make just about the same amount of money everywhere with the way contracts went.
Not just contracts, endorsements, being the face of a franchise in LA versus being the face of a franchise in Memphis.
I guess
so.
Yes.
Memphis was way not respected.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
All right, so
damn, I'm trying to put together a team.
I'm with you on the GM side
I'm trying to put
things.
together a team to go win championships.
I mean, that's probably the worst.
Nope.
That's probably the worst.
Don't come to
GM
Memphis.
move that's ever been publicized. That's it.
And
That's
he said it himself.
And he said it. He put it out there. 20 years later. Yeah.
Well, I guess there is no it is 16 years later, so he's like, I don't give a damn.
16.
I'm retired.
I thought it was 03.
It was 08.
I thought Kenny, I thought you said 03. My bad.
Wait,
wasn't it 08?
when was it? Was
I'm
it
pretty
03,
sure-
04? I thought it was 04.
Pretty sure the video said 03, guys.
Oh God.
Okay, I might be wrong.
So 20 years later.
Okay,
Yeah,
20
think
years
it-
later.
I think you said 03.
Okay, 03.
And even if you thought it was 2004, 16 years, not good math at all.
Well, 2000. No, what I was thinking. So Jerry West was 02 to 07.
Okay, so you were thinking the end of Jerry's tenure.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass. I'm a dumbass, fellas. I was told there wouldn't be math tonight. No, but his last year as a Grizzlies GM was 07.
Okay.
Yes.
All
So
right.
there's
your
where
math.
my math was.
Okay. All right, Kenny.
Which comments hit worse? Chandler Parsons' comments about that $195 million contract or $95 million, whatever it was, where he was basically like,
Stop saying numbers.
Yeah,
This math
it's too much.
I
It's
can't
too
do
much.
math anymore.
where
all right?
he said, man, he started trashing on Memphis. Was like, yeah, I just signed that, just blah blah blah. He had some pretty harsh comments, and then he's come out over the last few months and just been brutal to the organization.
I don't get
the
that.
Jerry West comments are way worse. Like,
No,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
even close.
but
Like, Chandler Parsons wasn't gonna make the team a finals type team.
They
a
thought he
championship type
was.
team.
That's why
No,
they
no,
paid
no.
him the money
But-
they did.
But this is all hindsight. This is all
But on the
hindsight.
Chandler Parsons front, why is he going after the organization?
just
God.
be
Dude,
quiet,
you're
bro.
the only organization that was going to pay you $94 million is the Grizzlies, and they did it.
Yeah.
And they footed the bill.
Yeah.
And it's not like they cut you off.
No.
So I don't know why he's
But-
all like, why does he hold any ill will to the Grizzlies?
Jerry West comments way worse. Chandler Parsons was never going to give this city a championship. Kobe Bryant definitely could have given the city a championship. So there's your gap right
Jerry
there.
said, don't come to this place.
Don't come here. Don't come here.
Golly.
Basically, you're too big to come here.
Yeah,
Don't
that's what it was.
Wow. All right, topic number 3. A bunch of betting odds came out. Fox Sports put it out. MVP voting for the NFL this year. Christian, run through that list. Who are the betting odds they have?
Okay, we got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes all at plus 700. Justin Herbert plus 900. Jalen Hurts plus 1,200. Lamar plus 15. A-Rod, Trevor Lawrence, and Dak all plus 1,600. And Tua rounding it out at plus 17.
Where are you putting your money?
I mean, best bang for buck.
Pat Mahomes again?
I mean, yeah. I mean, best one like lower down, probably Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
I mean,
I know you're gonna hate on this, but Lamar Jackson would be an interesting one.
no.
Man, he's got OBJ. His O line solid. His defense can be good. He's gonna win games.
yeah, but Todd Monken's
He's got
not
he,
gonna
ha-
let him
he
run the
has
ball
Zay
as much.
Flowers. He has Zay Flowers. They just drafted. Rashad Bateman's back healthy.
Yeah, but you think Lamar Jackson's going to
Yes.
win an MVP off of his arm?
I think he'll sling it.
You think he's gonna win
I
it
think he
off
could.
his arm?
Since his
That's
MVP
crazy.
year in 2019, I guarantee he has his best passing year this year.
Okay.
Guarantee.
Hard to beat.
And he's still gonna run for what, 800 to 1,000 yards?
I don't think Todd Monken's going to
You
let
put
him
together
run as
those. You put together that type of a stat line. Nah, I mean he's going to be in that conversation as long as he stays healthy. Now that's an if.
much. Big if.
No, but don't,
I'd rather
man,
put my,
I'm tired of your Lamar hate.
I'm not a
you're
Lamar Jackson fan.
you're a Lamar hater, and I don't really understand it. What did he do wrong? He got
I
paid.
didn't say he did anything
He got
wrong.
paid,
I've-
and he also got his way with actually getting weapons within that offense.
I'm not hating on Lamar getting paid or getting OBJ and Zay Flowers. I'm not hating on any of that. I just think he's hella overrated, and I always have thought that.
Even his MVP season, you thought he was overrated.
I mean, no, he had an incredible season, but people still call him a top 5 quarterback, and he's not.
I mean,
And he never has been.
not a top 5 throwing quarterback. No,
just a top 5 quarterback.
I mean, when you bring in the rushing aspect of his game, you could easily make that argument.
I couldn't.
I mean,
and I disagree with your argument. So, okay.
Dude's running for 1,000 yards a year, dog.
Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, Herbert, Hurts, they're all better than him.
What do you think about Trevor Lawrence getting Ridley back?
I like that a lot.
I think that could be he could have a really good. His statistics will be nice.
Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk. They brought Evan Ingram
by the
back,
way, I'm
Travis
sorry,
Etienne.
Cowboy fan. Keep Dak off this damn list.
Hey.
I know he's gonna be on the like. He'll be up there when it comes to odds because he's a quarterback in the NFL and his team's gonna be solid. But Dak is not an MVP. Oh, stop it! You cannot down Lamar Jackson as an MVP candidate and then do this for Dak.
I mean, he had 37 and 10 2 years ago.
Oh, that's foolish. Stop it.
It's true.
That's ridiculous.
It's true.
And Tua, as long as he doesn't.
I mean, Tua
his head.
is honestly very intriguing. Because if you look at all of his metrics from last year,
they were great.
Yards per attempt, yards per completion, EPA, like everything.
Don't say EPA. Are you
QBR, all the
metrics? Don't be one of them damn EPA, DVOA.
I'm saying
you're
metrics.
an analytics guy. I don't need all that in my life.
I'm just saying metrics. Okay,
you're gonna go
yards
full
per yards per attempt.
The ringer on me.
QBR was 105.5. Like everything was really good. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah. But did you hear that they brought a jiu-jitsu instructor out there to teach him how to fall on the ground?
I did.
No injuries this year.
Nothing happening.
Cross your fingers.
Tyreek Hill wants to go for 2K. You got Jalen Waddle still in the fold. You got Lord knows what they're going to do at running back. I mean, they've got Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert. They just drafted Devin Achane. And now they're saying they're going to get everyone, is linking Dalvin Cook to them. So who knows what they're going to do at running back. But, yeah, I mean, Mike McDaniel, one of the best offensive minds in the league. You got probably the best receiver duo, maybe other than Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in the league. And that's arguable.
My money would be on, outside of the plus 700 guys, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, would be Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers.
I would say Rodgers.
That's fair.
If he's actually locked in, he's got Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, McCole Hardman.
Did you see what he said about Garrett Wilson and Juice or Sauce?
Yeah, that they could be the best at both of their positions.
Yeah, he said here in a couple of years, best cornerback,
he said this year,
wide receiver.
He said this year they could be the best cornerback and wide receiver, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people already have Sauce Gardner as the best corner.
Yeah, I don't doubt what he's saying.
I'd put him
that's the crazy thing. Usually when people
put him at number 2 right now.
Usually when guys make statements like that about their teammates, they're exaggerating. I think both those guys have crazy talent. Garrett Wilson's so good.
So good. I don't ever see a pathway for Garrett Wilson to be the best receiver in the league with guys like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase being 23, 24 years old. But Sauce, like I said, he's top 3 unquestionably already. I mean, you can make an argument for number 1. I think Pat Surtain's the best corner in the league.
Garrett Wilson caught for 1,100 yards last year with Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco.
Yes,
and Mike
but
White
I'm just saying.
Ball.
Jettas is a generational talent. Jamar Chase is incredible.
I think Garrett Wilson could be that guy though. Genuinely could.
Could he be? Yes, but there's
fast, really good crisp route runner. Stayed healthy all last year.
But there's so many more good receivers than there are corners.
Yeah,
there's so much more competition.
I think so.
Like the best 2 corners in the league are like 24 years old. Sauce and Pat Surtain.
That's fair.
Jalen Ramsey sucks now.
Yeah,
it's part of it.
Yeah, he's a little slower in his older age.
Fell off hard. But yeah, that's the MVP odds for this year. We didn't really even talk about that. We just kind of argued about NFL, which, man, I can't wait to start doing that in freaking September. Me and you are going to get in heated matchups every week. That's all. Just for everyone who cares anything about this show, just know when September rolls around, the whole hot 3 is going to be NFL. Probably every single week. So just know that that's coming. Probably 45 minutes of me and Gabe pissing each other off and arguing.
I can't wait till Lamar's first 5 weeks of the season. He's leading in MVP odds. Then I get this.
We'll see.
Look at you like a crazy person.
Fellas, y'all got anything else before we wrap this up?
I'm good, brother.
K-Dog, you good?
Man, I'm good.
Okay, cool. We appreciate you guys for checking it out. Before we get out of here, make sure you head over to carmigo.io/onthebluff for $50 off. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, download. Is that right? Did I say the right word? Download?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Download the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast. Head over to bluffcitymedia.co. Check out all the articles, videos, podcasts, everything we got over there, and we will see you guys back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On The Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.